Hey sports fans, welcome back to Wayland Sports Broadcasting. I'm Chloe Zalumbo.
And I'm Zabek Tezliar.
We're your hosts for today's new show, Spotlight. This is a one-on-one interview show.
We have a lot to go over today with interviews from 3 people involved in Wayland High School athletics.
Our interviews will dive into their careers as coaches and high school athletes, each telling a different story about their lives.
Kicking things off, we have an interview by Sarah Rice with Wayland girls tennis coach Jason Tassinari.
Take it away, Sarah.
Yeah, so last year was your first season coaching here. How do you think last year went?
Last year was a year for me where I came in and I think the program didn't necessarily need a tennis coach.
Yeah.
They needed a coach.
Definitely.
And that's what my strengths are, you know.
Yeah.
And when I met with Mr. Rollins about the job, I asked him what the program needed. And he said they needed some direction. They needed a coach to come in and work on team chemistry that could make solid coaching decisions. And that's not a shot at the previous coach. It's just what he told me the program needed. And it just so happened that I had coached tennis many years ago and I had played it. So I had that background along with my coaching instincts that I think helped. And, you know, I kind of eased my way into it, got to know the players pretty well. And it's a different sport to coach. There's, you know, a whole different rhythm to it. So I wanted to develop the trust of the players first, have them know that I was concerned about them as people first and student athletes. And then it was a matter of getting to know each player on an individual basis and starting to break down who was who and what their particular strengths and weaknesses were and do a ranking system.
Yeah.
And also find the right assistant coach, which luckily I did with Erin Lehman, who I'm very thankful and lucky to have. You know, we were about 500, we were 6-7, but we played a very tough schedule. We played many Division I teams. So our record wasn't reflective of how good we were. And, you know, we ended up finishing 6th in the Massachusetts rankings for Division II, which was great. We made it to the Sweet 16 before we lost to Westboro. But we were very competitive, a very strong group, but it was a group that had an awful lot of moral fiber, if you will. Great kids, great people that welcomed me to the program and made the transition very easy for me.
Yeah. Definitely felt like a real community this year.
I think so too, and that's important to me.
So with everything you learned from last season, do you have any ideas of what your plans are for this upcoming season?
I mean, I've got to give you all my secrets?
Yeah, let's hear them.
Well, I feel like I can put a little bit more of my imprint on the program now that I've been here, and now that I know the players and I know what works and what doesn't work. Some of those things are still evolving as we sit here right before Christmas and we're still several months away. But you know, I think there's going to be more of a community outreach that's going to happen. I know we did the Jimmy Fund Walk as a group, which I thought was outstanding, but we will do some more community service things around the town. And I think some of the nuts and bolts of the program are going to change a little bit now that I know who's here and who's coming back. And I think there's going to be a little more emphasis, and I know you'll love this, there'll be more emphasis on fitness and some plyometric training. Oh, great.
I'm ready.
You say that like you're happy. But we'll be doing a lot of fitness and plyometric work to do tennis-specific fitness. I think there's going to be more work with specific groups, meaning we'll be doing some separate sessions with the singles players. We'll be doing some separate sessions with the doubles players, so it'll be specific. We don't have a lot of court space because we usually practice at the same time as the boys. So having 3 courts and having a large roster can sometimes be challenging. But you know, we're going to have a different warm-up routine. We're going to have some different gear. We're going to kind of change the logo a little bit more and streamline it. So there's some little things and there's some big things, but I think they're all things that are going to help the program go to the next level. And it's not going to be like a shock to the system. It's just going to be, you know, like an IV drip of things. So
it sounds like you got a lot of good plans.
I think about it every day.
I know. I'm excited to see how we do this year.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Coach Tassinari, for coming on our show. I learned a lot about our girls tennis team and the coach behind them.
I did too, Zabek. It's always interesting to learn about the faces behind our sports teams.
I agree. We focus a lot on our student athletes, but it's great to know a little more about our coaches as well.
On the topic of student athletes, our next interview is about one of our sophomore boys varsity soccer players.
That's right, Chloe. For our second interview of the day, we have Brady Babineau, a defender for the boys soccer team. We're going to turn it over to Natalie O'Neill for the interview.
Brady has been playing soccer since he was young and has recently been named junior captain for the Wayland boys varsity soccer team. What got you into the sport?
I'd say my parents threw me into the sport when I was fairly young, but I've played it ever since I could walk.
What position do you play?
I play defense mostly, center back, left back, right back. I like to play defense. I've always played that position.
Are you excited for the upcoming season, especially now that you're going to be a junior captain?
Yeah, I'm very excited for this upcoming season. It's a big weight to take on as a junior captain, obviously, but I'm very excited overall. We're going to have a bunch of new players because we sadly have 12 seniors leaving us, so we're going to be a freshly young team and a very new team. And the fact that I'm captain means a lot to me, obviously, so I'm going to take that role and do the best as I can with it. And I'm excited because we're going to be a new, tough opponent for a bunch of other teams that haven't seen as many new kids as we have. And I feel like overall, we're going to be very strong.
What are you most looking forward to in the 2025 season?
I'm looking forward to all the young talent that we have coming up because, like I said earlier, we have a lot of seniors leaving us. So we're going to be a very fresh team, very young team, and I feel like that's going to make us very difficult to play, especially in the DCL, which is a very tough division. And I think that we're going to do well. I think everything's going to go according to plan. We have a great coach, and I feel like everything's going to shape up in the end.
Thank you, Natalie, and thank you, Brady.
Our final interview today is with another student athlete.
Actually, someone who's a member of Wayland Sports Broadcasting. He is one of this year's basketball captains. Our last interview for today is Ridley Keegan.
He's been playing basketball for many years, so let's see what he has to say about his athletic journey.
Let's head over to Luke DePietro-Froyo, who is with Ridley.
Ridley, my first question I want to ask you is, when did your basketball journey start?
I mean, it was first grade, and I mean, at that point, I tried every single sport, soccer, flag football, swimming, and quite frankly, I hated all of them. Soccer, just too lengthy, like I was slow, unathletic. But basketball, I was tall, right? Basketball, I was like, I can probably do this. So around first grade, I got signed up, first few practices, had no idea what I was doing, right? I think I was dribbling the ball with two hands, passing the wrong team. But I think the thing that stands out for my first season of organized basketball was our first game. I was actually on a really good team, and I think it was around like 30-0 with like 1 minute left, and I foul someone, and they make a free throw. So we win 30-1, and I was pissed. I was like, I let up the only point, and I was like, I want to quit, and I don't want to do this anymore. To my parents, he was like, it's 1 point, it doesn't matter, you guys still won. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fine, I'll stick with it, and here I am today.
I don't know if you guys are going to be winning a lot of games 30-0 this year. But speaking of this year, what do you guys think is your biggest strength of the team? Like something that maybe the past teams who haven't been so successful that you possess this year?
I think it's chemistry. I mean, all the fall we played AAU together. Most of the guys, we were on an AAU team, practice twice a week, games on the weekend. And I mean, the past years we didn't do that. We weren't as connected on offense and defense. We know where we like to get the ball to each other. And our friendship has grown and sprouted from playing AAU ball in the fall.
Thank you, Luke and Ridley.
Zabek, you're on the basketball team. Tell us a little bit about what it's like to play with Ridley.
I had the privilege of being on the basketball team this year with Ridley. He's been a great scorer for us, scoring many buckets and winning a lot of close games for us, and I've had a great season with him and the rest of our teammates.
That's great to hear. And with that, we have wrapped up all our interviews for today's show. If you want to see the full interviews, check out waycam.tv in the broadcasting playlist.
Make sure to tune in next time where we'll have 3 more members of our Wayland High School athletic community to share their stories. Once again, I'm Zabek Tevziar.
And I'm Chloe Zalembo. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time on Spotlight with Wayland Sports Broadcasting.